Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Martin. A scare at Nettleton High School after the campus was placed on lockdown after a gun was found. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says several deputies went to campus about 9 this morning after getting a tip about a weapon being on school grounds. During their search, a loaded handgun was found inside of a backpack. As deputies started to interview students about the incident, Johnson says LeBryant Finney left the campus. The 16-year-old, who was reported as a runaway, has been located and is safe tonight.
The scary thing about it is, if you go back to square one and we was not ever made aware of this threat, it's scary to think what could have happened. Even with all the plans in place, even with everybody being trained and everything else in play, if that thing had got in the hands of the wrong person, or if it had been used for whatever purpose it went down there for, you would have been dealing with a whole different situation.
Sheriff Johnson says the person accused of bringing the gun on campus is a juvenile. His name is not being released. The school resumed normal operations after the gun was seized. An update to a story we brought you here last night. A death investigation continues in Noxubee County after a woman's body was found Tuesday evening off Butler Road in Meshulaville. Sheriff Terry Grassery says the body was discovered in a deep embankment off the side of this road. Investigators used special equipment to help them retrieve the body from the deep wooded area. Grassery says they believe the woman is Native American in her 30s and could possibly be a missing woman from Philadelphia.
Something, either foul play was done to her somewhere else and brought here, or she was brought here and then foul play was done. And it is our job at this point to find out which one that, and right now it's dual jurisdiction, and we're going to see whether it stays that way or whether it comes back to one jurisdiction.
The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Noxubee County Sheriff's Department, and the Choctaw Police are all working this case. The body has been sent to Pearl for an autopsy. A Columbus teen is indicted on 3 counts of aggravated assault. Kevis Hill is accused of shooting at a car with 3 people inside. The shooting happened back on May 30th of 2016 near Artesia. Hill was arrested back in June and charged with murder in the death of 18-year-old Deshaun Boyd. One of 3 men arrested in connection with several Lowndes County robberies pleads guilty. Curtis Clay pleaded guilty to 1 count of armed robbery. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and 5 years probation. 2 other counts were retired. Clay, along with 2 other men, were originally arrested after the May 2016 holdups. Investigators believed they robbed the Country Mart on Highway 182 and Food Mart on Land Road. A moving violation becomes a moving movement for a driver near Jackson. A driver facing 2 tickets gets a boost to her spirits instead. Andrew Namora has more.
Christine Morgan says she was barreling down Highway 51 in Madison last week when this happened.
I looked in my rearview mirror and I was like, oh my God.
Clocked Mrs. Johnson's vehicle going 62 miles an hour in a 45 zone.
And that's when Madison police officer Micah Taylor pulled her over.
He approached my car, so I let the window down. He was like, hey, how you doing?
I looked back in the back seat and, I saw her 7-year-old son back there, and he didn't have a booster seat or anything.
Morgan told Taylor she usually doesn't pick her son Noah up from school. That's why she didn't have his booster seat at the time.
I just said, well, ma'am, you just happen to be in luck.
I have a booster seat, and if you want it, you can have it.
Yep, Officer Taylor gave little Noah a booster seat and scrapped the 2 tickets Morgan would have received.
I don't get this often, you just never, know what people are gonna do.
You don't have to be law enforcement or anything, man. Just, love people, care about people, go the next step to go above and beyond for people.
There really are some great officers still, out in the world or whatever. So, I was amazed by it.
Officer Micah Taylor is originally from the New Hope area. Turning to weather now, time to get a first look at our forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds. Good evening, Amanda.
Good evening, Scott. It was a wonderful evening to relax out in the outdoors. Even the cows were relaxing out in Lamar County. In front of the gorgeous sunset. A few clouds, but it actually made the sunset look better. This picture taken over in Sullivan by Steve Miner. Again, plenty of color in the sky. Up in Tupelo right now, we're seeing temperatures right around 75, and that's where most of us are seeing right now. But we'll drop down into the 60s overnight, and it will remain very clear and comfortable.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Work is wrapping up on renovations to part of the Bancorp South Arena. New electric risers and seats are being installed. The old seats were original to the building, which opened back in 1993 and had become worn and hard to clean. The arena's executive director says maintaining the building is important.
Our mission is to attract people to Tupelo, bring visitors to town, and help enhance the economic impact and the quality of life for the citizens. So we've been able to do that, averaging between 250 and 300,000 people a year attending the different events that we host.
The new risers will be in place for WWE this Sunday. Construction on the first phase of the new amphitheater in Columbus is right on schedule. Workers are busy assembling the stage, laying sod, and installing light fixtures along the pathways of the Terry Brown Amphitheater. Then it will be on to phase 2, which includes bathrooms and a concession stand on the first tier of the facility. Project manager Jeff Johnson says it's been a long process, but the project is right on track.
It's been a great project. We've had a couple bumps here and there, but you know, the working with these contractors, these professionals, has really made it to where we are right now in the construction process. Not letting those hurdles and obstacles really slow us down or get in the way.
The project is expected to be complete within a week and a half. A dream that's been a decade in the making is a step closer to becoming a reality. Miracle League Field, better known as the Field of Dreams, will be custom made to accommodate residents with special needs. As our Victoria Bailey tells us, volunteers say it's been a long time coming, but all the hard work will pay off when they see the players take the field.
We just wanted to make it to where even though Nick's not here anymore, this is a way he can live on.
Golden Triangle Outdoors volunteer Debbie Taylor has made it her life's mission to bring a Miracle League field to Columbus.
I'm a mama, and I had a child with special needs. Nick loved baseball better than he loved anything, and we were able to see him enjoy that. We were able to see others enjoy it because of our determination, our persistence.
Miracle League fields have unique features for its special players.
The park will be 100% accessible. It'll have the coating will be a rubberized coating, and that's probably the most expensive part of this park. It will enable the kids who are on walkers, crutches, wheelchairs, even if they just have an abnormal gait, it will keep things off the ground from them to stumble over.
The rewarding project carries a high price tag.
The project can go anywhere from $350,000 to $500,000, and a lot of that's going to depend on the in-kind services that we get. But we've been blessed to get a $100,000 matching grant from Lions Club International Foundation. We've also had some smaller grants, but that's the one that pushed us over the edge that got us able to go forward.
The Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority, city officials, the Golden Triangle Outdoors, and the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors are working toward the finish line of the field after 10 years of work to break ground.
This is going to be over a couple of years process. It could be as early as a year, but of course the county and the city are giving $50,000 a year, and then the outdoor rec is going to be giving us some money. So we're going to be as expedient as we possibly can because we want those children to go ahead and hit the field.
The groundbreaking is scheduled Saturday at 10 a.m. at Probst Park.
Well, what is now Tropical Depression Harvey is in the Gulf of Mexico and slowly creeping to the northwest. It will impact the Gulf Coast of Texas this weekend, but it could impact our weather as we get closer to next week. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
Well, we had a gorgeous evening, not only here in Columbus, but across our viewing area. Right now, though, temperatures sitting comfortably in the 70s, 77 here in Columbus, and most of us are seeing those cooler conditions up to the north, already seeing some 60s. Down to the south, still a bit warmer. That's going to be the trend overnight as well. We'll see those temperatures dropping down into the upper 60s, low 70s, but gorgeous weather is expected for tomorrow and Friday. And then looking forward to Football Friday, we're going to give the weather forecast an A+. We're going to stay very nice and dry, but we are watching the tropics and what will eventually become Harvey, or has reformed and is again Harvey. And that will begin to impact our weather as we go into the next several days. But the dew points come crashing down. That's why it's felt so refreshing. Some of that drier air pushing in as we had that cold front sink down to the south. It's keeping all of that moisture down to along the Gulf Coast, and also along the Gulf Coast we're going to see Harvey, but forecast lows for tonight. Again, we're going to see those for the most part in the 60s. Areas up to the north could see them even drop into the extreme upper 50s. So it's going to be a nice refreshing night for most of us. Tomorrow, again, we're going to see that heat, but again with that drier air, we're going to see plenty of that sunshine, and it's going to feel quite refreshing, especially with the winds out of the northeast around 5 to 15 miles per hour. But again, that front now down to our south, and it's going to bring in that drier conditions. But down back to the southwest and parts of Texas, that is now Tropical Depression Harvey. It's going to stall out along the Gulf Coast over the course of this weekend. So the remnants of Harvey going to push off to the northeast, and it could begin to affect our region as we get closer to the middle of next week. So stay tuned for that forecast. Rain chances going to be relatively low for the next few days, but as we get into Saturday, Sunday, and the beginning of next week, going to see those rain chances increase. Exact amounts going to kind of be up in the air as we see what Harvey does, but can guarantee you the forecast for the next few days going to be very nice, very pleasant. But as we get forward past Sunday, the forecast kind of uncertain. It just kind of depends on what Harvey is going to do. But again, going to be very refreshing, especially the overnight temperatures going to remain in the 60s.
A soccer match in Columbus accomplishes a historic goal. They're making history on the pitch later in sports.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
With the summertime heat, almost any type of outdoor activity can cause dehydration. We talk about some of the main causes in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I am Lee Richardson, a physician in the emergency room at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Dehydration occurs when there isn't enough water in your body to replace what's lost throughout the day. Your system literally dries out. Sometimes dehydration occurs for simple reasons. You may not drink enough because you are sick or busy, or because you lack access to safe drinking water, such as when you are traveling, hiking, or camping. Dehydration also can occur when you have severe acute diarrhea, which can cause tremendous loss of water and electrolytes in a short amount of time. If you have vomiting along with diarrhea, you lose even more fluids and minerals. Children and infants are especially at risk. Other causes of dehydration include fever. In general, the higher the fever, the more dehydrated you become. Excessive sweating. If you do vigorous activity and don't replace fluids as you go along, you can become dehydrated. Hot, humid weather increases the amount you sweat and the amount of fluid you lose. But you can also become dehydrated in winter if you don't replace lost fluids. Increased urination. This is most often the result of undiagnosed or uncontrolled diabetes, a disease that affects the way your body uses blood sugar. This type of diabetes often causes increased thirst and more frequent urination. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will discuss who is at risk for dehydration and how it is treated.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
Our student athlete of the week visits Nanawaya as we profile two of the best on the football field next in sports.
Sports with Robbie Donahoe.
Nanawoya, one of the teams to beat in Class 1A this season, and that mainly centers around two of the best running backs that you'll find anywhere in Mississippi. We've enjoyed watching them on the end zone. They're called Thunder and Lightning. Tobias Glass and Chris Smith, they've been terrorizing opposing defenses every Friday night since they got up to the varsity level. As our Student Athletes of the Week, we profile the dynamic duo and their run to a state title.
Warrior fans are expecting another big season for their team, led by a two-headed monstrous backfield for the three-time district champions. Chris Smith has the speed to get around opposing defenses and score touchdowns. Tobias Glass has the power to run people over and get the extra yardage. That's what these two do best when they are in the backfield when they touch the ball.
We not doing Thunder and Lightning because Tobias, he's coming in head first, running people over, just knocking people out the way, and I'm just out running people, being fast. Tobias, he's special, man. He don't care who it is, size does not matter to Tobias. He's gonna go get him.
He give good leadership to the younger kids. He's a good athlete too. He can run. If you ain't doing right, he try to get on to you, and he's determined to win. He likes to win. Nobody likes to lose.
Head coach Ryan Keaton enters his third season coaching Smith and Glass and says there's no competition even when one has a better game than the other.
The thing I love about them the most is they don't care which one has the success. You know, if one of them scores, the other one's the first guy there in the end zone to celebrate with them.
The Thunder and Lightning duo were nightmares for opposing defenses, averaging more than 2,000 rushing yards combined. Now, heading into their senior season, they're looking to pick up right where they left off.
We're just going to keep trying hard. We're going to try to get more than that this year. We're trying to be the best of the world that come through Nanawoya. That's what we're trying to be. I think we're going to get it too.
We've been working hard, and we got to keep grinding, and the Lord will tell us what we can do.
I expect them to duplicate it, or at least I hope so. You know, we tried to beef up our schedule a little bit, and I think our division's a little bit tougher, but, you know, hopefully that'll allow them to be able to play a little bit deeper into games and to continue their success.
Nanawoya has made the postseason 12 straight seasons. They've never won the gold ball. They were runners-up in 1991. But this year's team doesn't talk about winning the title. They're just focused on preparing one down at a time.
It has a little bit, but we don't talk about it much. We got to take one game at a time.
We don't even talk about the state championship. We just go game from game, one at a time.
It's been a long time since they've been in a state championship game here, and they've never won one. So we're hoping that, you know, that's got them hungry for a chance to get there and give this community something they've been, you know, wanting for a long time.
Nanawoya returns to action Friday when they host Union. Reporting in Nanawoya, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Student Athlete of the Week with Jonathan Flippo is brought to you by C Spire Wireless.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. History being made tonight at MUW. The Owls hosted their first ever men's sporting event as the soccer team faced East Central. Early on, Jacob Johnson squaring one to Sess Mean. Shot saved by the keeper. Peyton Bounds would have an interesting free kick lined up just outside the 18, but that one also be blasted at the keeper. But maybe the highlight of the night from MUW came from their goalkeeper, Selvin Lopez. Watch this save. Not many high-class keepers on the international level can do something like that. Tremendous play, tipping that one over the crossbar. East Central, though, would have a couple goals in him. Tanner Lindsay had one of them right here, sliding it past the keeper. 5-0 win for East Central, but much more to come in the future for MUW. To college football, the coaches from the SEC released their preseason all-SEC teams. You're going to see the full list is online on our website at WCBI.com. Alabama had 15 players in all between the first, second, and third teams. You see the first team offense, Jonah Williams, Ross Pierschbacher, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Hurts, and Darius Geis also on there. First team defense, 4 Alabama guys, Deshaun Hand, Deron Payne, Minka Fitzpatrick, Ronnie Harrison, along with punter J.K. Scott. Marquise Haynes was the first teamer from Ole Miss. Rebels also had 2 other guys on the second team, Greg Little and Gary Wundlich. MSU had 2 guys on the second team as well, with Nick Fitzgerald and Martinez Rankin. Don't forget our Thursday night showcase. Tomorrow night we'll be live at Longenecker Field previewing Saltillo Amory. And then Friday, our Carl Hogan Toyota Game of the Week, Oxford and Starkville. That's it for sports. Last look at your forecast coming up.
We'll be staying dry over the next couple of days, but there are areas of southeast Texas that won't be. Upwards of 2 feet of rain with Tropical Depression Harvey that could form into Tropical Storm Harvey over the next few days. We could see some of those remnants coming into our area by the time we get to beginning to middle of next week, but for the next few days, looking beautiful.
All right, thanks Amanda. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.